Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, everyone out there. Welcome to the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish, and I'm the host of this program. I am so excited that you've all tuned in today. If it's the very first time, welcome to our show. What we do is that we interview a variety of committed women weekly who are working to make the world a better place. Our hashtag out there, if you see it, is Divas That Care. And any of our returning listeners, thank you so much. It's because of you that we've continued to do this for over 8 years now, and we love it. We have some amazing hosts on our other programs, so you have to make sure that you check them out and listen to their guests also. So let's get started. I'm really excited. We have a brand new diva that we're going to be welcoming to our diva family today. Her name is Michelle Bateman. This amazing woman is a transformational soul coach. So I'm really excited to be talking to her today and to be learning and from all about her and what she does out there. So, Michelle, welcome to our show today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to have you. This is exciting. Michelle, if you would like to spend a few moments just sharing a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you.
Perfect. So my name is Michelle Bateman, and I live in just outside of Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a mom of 2 daughters, 16 and 20. So life is a little bit different now that, teenagers do their own thing and they've got their own activities. So I have lots of time to dedicate to what I'm creating in the world. And, I'm so grateful that, our young moms can appreciate how busy life is. So I'm just going to say it gets easier. So, there's a lot more free time coming your way. And so with that free time, I get to focus on me and really figuring out who I am and what do I want and what do I want to create in the world. Because as a mom, I gave myself to my kids, to my home, to crafts, to dinners, to all that kind of stuff. And I didn't really have any idea who I was, and I didn't even know we were supposed to know who we were. I just thought I was, my daughter's mom and, a wife and whatever. And then when my second marriage fell apart, and it was extremely lonely and very isolating, and I just thought, seriously, is this all there is to life? There's got to be more to life than this, and I'm so unhappy. And I feel unfulfilled, but I don't know why, and I don't really know where to look. And so it wasn't until I had thoughts of smothering my husband with a pillow. Sorry, that's the truth. I didn't hurt him. But that moment, it's part of my story, and it makes people laugh. But it was my wake-up call, and it scared the crap out of me because that wasn't who I was. I used to be this happy, loving, kind person, and I lost that along the way. And so I had to find myself again. And so I became obsessed with reading and taking courses and taking classes. And I had a dear friend who was dying of ALS and was completely paralyzed. And he was happier to live. No, he was happier dying than I was living my life. And I just thought, what am I doing wrong? I got to figure this out. And so as I began to, seek out help and read and just absorb everything I could, I completely transformed my life. And, I was a stay-at-home mom. I left. I got the job of my dreams, and we moved into a house that was even more amazing than I could imagine. And then I experienced a love that was beyond what I thought was even possible in life. And so from going from thinking I'd never be happy again and life sucks to I have everything I ever hoped and dreamed of was mind-blowing to me. And what I realized was that we're not taught how to do that. We're not taught how to take care of ourselves and put ourselves first. We're not taught to understand our feelings and emotions and all of that. So when I did that, I realized that there were so many other women out there struggling and hurting like I was, and I wanted to help them. So I realized that that was my passion and my purpose in life, was to help other people change their life like I did, because I didn't want people to struggle and feel lost and feel so hurt like I did. And so that became why I do what I do and how I created it. But it was a journey. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of hurt that I had to go through to get to that point.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. And this, ladies, is why we have her on our show today. This is amazing, Michelle, because I think that a lot of the ladies, the divas that tune into our show are really going to relate to that, because You do as a mom, and just, or if you don't have children, you feel like sometimes you lose who you are. I always say to my girls, I'm like, I wish I knew years ago what I know today. I feel more, I have more of that confidence in myself, and I have more of that wisdom, I would think, that because of what we learned over the years. But I think what you're doing and how you're probably
struggles.
You learn that through your struggles. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
And so how do we teach our kids? How do we teach the next generation too? What I'm passionate about is not only empowering women in our generation, but now how do you share that knowledge with your children? How do you share that with them so that they don't have to struggle like we did, that they can maybe get there sooner than we did?
Oh, I love it. And we do. That is absolutely fantastic, Michelle. And because I think the girls nowadays too, they go through different struggles than what we ever had to go through. I always say that on the show that, social media is a great thing for the connection, but you know what? It's a very difficult thing to navigate, and I think it's even more so a challenge for children.
Yep.
And I think that you're probably being able to demonstrate what you're demonstrating to your girls. I bet you that has been the best thing that you could have ever done for them.
Yeah, they're pretty proud of watching me and to hear them say that to me and to see them cheering me on and to say, like, my mom was scared. My mom didn't know how to do it, but she figured out a way and she did it anyway. And so that just, demonstrates something that my words can't, right? Watching my actions is way more powerful than the words that I show. So how do I show up, even though it feels scary, even though it feels overwhelming? I still show up and I do it. And what I create from that is so much more amazing than allowing my fear or my doubts or all those things that we say to ourselves, because as women, and I think as humans, we're so cruel to ourselves. Like, we would never hang out with somebody that talks to us the way we talk to ourselves, yet we allow ourselves to do that every day. And so how do we teach young girls that you don't have to play small, and it's okay to say, yeah, I think I'm beautiful, smart, and amazing. That's what you should think and believe about yourself, and you're not conceited or arrogant. You're just acknowledging the gifts that you were given as a human being.
That is so inspiring, Michelle. That's a beautiful statement. Well, you've gone through this journey, and then you decided to take what you've learned, and you became a transformational soul coach. Can you tell me what that's all about? Because I can understand, I can see why people will probably want to know more about this and how they can work with you.
So for me, it was transforming my soul, my being, right? It wasn't about just head logic, because what we understand in our head and what we understand in our heart is completely different. And so you can have all the head knowledge in the world, but if you don't really integrate it into the being of who you are, you can't really take those lessons in. And so here's an example of, even though I do this all the time, I talk about it, I share with my clients and stuff, I still have my own lessons that I need to learn. And intellectually in my head, I know that when, people leave your life or whatever, it's not about you, it's about them. Intellectually, I know that. But just recently, I had somebody that I had a great connection with, and we were having conversations, and then they just vanished, and it was so weird. And so in the back of my head, I had that little bit of doubt, like, what was it about me? What did you not like? What did I do? And I made it all about me when I know better. And then turns out about 10 days later, they reached out and said, I had a tragic loss in my life, and I blocked out absolutely everybody. And I've talked to nobody since. So that was just another opportunity that the universe gave me to go, hey, you really need to understand this, not in your head, but in your heart. And so before I got that message, I made a decision that it will never be about me ever again. I'm never going to do that again, because I know that I am worthy and whole and complete, and I'm a good person. And so if somebody chooses to leave, it's not about me. It's not because I'm not smart enough or pretty enough or good enough or whatever. It's their own stuff that they need to process. And so this was just an example to illustrate for me to really take that from my head to my heart and then go, oh, okay, you were hurting and it had nothing to do with me. And I'm sorry that you're hurting, but it's just opportunities to integrate things from a head space to a heart space, because it's where our heart is that all of the transformation happens.
Well, and I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because a lot of, and I've been there too, it's a hard thing that trying to realize that, and you take it in so personally, and you think, okay, what have I done wrong? And is there something, like, I know that it's kind of a little bit off topic maybe, but Michelle, is there like a tip that, or something that you tell your clients, that just that one word, like, can they try to get their mind out of that negativity and to realize that? Is there something that you share with them to help them use that, like, rethink something? Probably not the right wording, but I'm trying to, try to. Yeah.
There's probably multiple things, but a really great thing to say is just, I love you. In the moment that you're hurting, in the moment that something doesn't feel right, to just stop and say, you know what, I love you. I love you so much. And often when we're hurting, we're the hardest on ourselves. We're the most critical on ourselves. And those are the moments we need to love ourselves even more. Because if our friend was struggling, if somebody we love dearly was struggling, we would never criticize them and put them down. But yet we do that to ourselves. So how do I remember in every moment that doesn't feel okay to just stop and love myself more, not less, not beat myself up more, but love myself more? That love, I believe, heals everything. And it's not the only thing, but, that in conjunction with when we switch from fear to love or criticism to love, everything opens up.
Why do we do that as humans? Why do we seem to be the hardest on ourselves?
Well, I don't know if I know the answer to that exactly, but our brains were designed back in the day to constantly look for danger and to constantly look for what was wrong, because there was dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, there was predatory things, there was danger around us all the time. So our mind was constantly scanning our surroundings, looking for what is wrong, because it had to keep us safe. That's the only way we survived and stayed alive. But we're not in danger anymore. We live in a safe society, most of us. But our brain is still trained to constantly look for what's wrong. So you have to retrain your brain to intentionally look for what is right. What am I grateful for? What is it that I have today that I can be thankful for? And, if you feel like you got nothing, you've got a toilet that flushes. You got water that comes out of a tap. Like, there's always something that we can find to be grateful. And when you're in gratitude, you can't be in judgment and in fear and in anger. They're completely separate, opposite emotions. And so gratitude and looking for what's good in a situation, what is this meant to teach me? What am I meant to learn from this? That's what's going to help you get through. Asking yourself better questions instead of saying, why me? Why does this suck? Why is it so hard? Why don't they love me? Asking better questions. What do I love about me? What is great about me? What am I excited about? What am I passionate about? What am I grateful for? And that shifts your entire focus. And when you shift your focus, your reality will change. I guarantee it.
Oh, I love it. Do you always recommend to your clients to do a lot of journaling then?
Yes, I love journaling. I have a little journal addiction, actually, like the really pretty ones with the sayings on the front.
Yeah,
I have a really big stack in my closet, and I really need to stop buying them. But now I'm like, I'm just going to buy them for clients because, I'm sure there's somebody that's going to need one sometime. So I'm kind of just justifying. But I love just getting it out of your head. Like, we've all been on that crazy bus in our head where those thoughts just do not stop, and it kind of spirals you down a place you don't want to go. And so journaling is really great to get those thoughts out of your head, because the transfer from head to paper kind of is therapeutic, but there's also something energetically that transfers those emotions that now I can let them go. I don't have to keep them in my head anymore because I've written them down. But also intentional journaling, intentionally writing, what is it I want? What do I want to create? What do I want to believe for myself? And it was so powerful when I started journaling at the beginning of my journey. My first page was, who am I? Because I had no clue. And then I wrote, what do I want? And then I wrote down all the crappy things I was saying about my life. And then I drew a line down the center. And on the other side of the page, I wrote, what is it that I want to replace that with? And so I got really clear on the things that I wanted to create. And a year later, I went back and I crossed off everything off my list. I'd had everything that I'd written down.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, super powerful.
It is very powerful, isn't it? Okay, well, let's talk about some other things that you're doing too. I know that you're developing your business. And one of the things I found really exciting right before when we had talked earlier is that you do retreats. You're doing some online stuff that I want to talk about too, but you do retreats and you like all these workshops and you do coaching and you do one-on-one. So let's talk about that because I think our listeners from not just Canada but the United States and Europe would be very interested in this.
Thank you. So my first retreat that I did, and it was so funny because people are like, I can't believe you put together a retreat. I was like, well, why wouldn't I put together a retreat? Like, and it was a beautiful thing to put together. And how it came about was, in one of my times of struggle, I took a trip by myself. I've never done that. I'm super extroverted, and I never thought I would do that. But I just got away, and I went to Sedona, Arizona. And so I don't know, some of your listeners will know about Sedona. It's a very magical, healing, spiritual space. And so I went there to just have some healing and just get some clarity and be with me. And the alone time and the energy there was so powerful and so beautiful and so magical. I was like, this is where we need to go. So last September, we took a group down there and we did a hiking and healing retreat in Sedona. And it was beautiful and it was amazing. And we hiked and we meditated and, we did a shaman ceremony with a medicine wheel, and just the shifts that happened when we all came home and how things have just expanded and opened up has been really amazing. And then seeing the friendships and just being together and immersed with one another and sharing love and support and tears was a really beautiful thing. So I really loved it. We're going to go back again this October. We're going to make it a little bit longer. I think we did 6 days last year. We're going to do 8 days this year. And just get out and be in nature and connect with the earth and connect with ourselves and each other. And I'm super passionate about having a tribe, whether it's an online tribe, whether it's an in-person tribe. We need women around us that are here to support us. And often as we start our journey, we kind of shift and change, but maybe the people in our lives, our friends, our family, aren't really shifting with us, and they don't really get what we're trying to do or what we're learning. And so sometimes some of our relationships can feel strained because they're not lifting us up. So then how do you surround yourself with women that are going to lift you up, that are going to be on the same sort of journey on you as you are, learning the same things you are, hungry for the same things you are, and just support one another? And I think it's such a beautiful thing. So I have an online group called our Soul Tribe. And, with attending workshops, a lot of people continually come to my workshops, the different ones that I offer. So they're becoming friends and connecting outside of those events and having the support that they really, really need. And they say, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, whether it's the 5 people that you focus on your Instagram feed or your Facebook, right? There's people out there that put a lot of positivity in the world, and then there's people that maybe don't so much. So how do you surround yourself with the most amount of love and positivity and do that? So, there's many different ways I try to create that for women.
Well, I love that, and I love that the support that you're offering women out there. I know with our divas that we have, the Changemakers Cafe, and I would consider that our tribe out there that we've tried to have that networking and that community and those relationship building. So I understand exactly what you're doing, and I think it's one of the greatest things that you can do for others.
Thank you. And I am also looking to do maybe a retreat within Canada. I just haven't got the planning so far, but there will be, more retreats, maybe one to the mountains. Tofino is a place that I love, going to the coast and, maybe doing a couple surf lessons while we're out there. So, stay tuned and stay in touch for some cool, fun things to do.
Well, that's awesome. And we'll definitely be posting that with our tribe here at the Divas That Care, because I think a lot of the ladies would be interested in stuff like that. But before that, we can get them involved perhaps in some of the webinars that you're doing. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So the first one that I did, and it was super successful, was called Go Unstuck Yourself. And so I was encountering so many women, and they just said, I feel stuck. I don't know where to turn. So we did a 6-week online where it was in a closed Facebook group. And once a week I would post a live video, and they could comment while they were watching the live video. And then if they couldn't attend at that time, they could watch it later. And then the community that they built supporting each other in that platform was really beautiful to see. So, now that it's January and everybody's like, I'm going to make 2019 awesome. I was like, okay, what do I want for this year? Because last year, was a lot of learning and a lot of growing. And, anybody that's into numerology, this year is a 3-year, which is going to be a lot more ease and flow of the things that we learned is now all going to come into our reality. So I was like, perfect. I want to have ease and flow this year. Those are my words for the year. I pick words every year.
I like that.
Created an online. Yeah, having a word, just little disclaimer, be careful the word you use, because last year I picked surrender. So, of course, you get a lot of opportunities to practice surrender. So just know, with your word comes lessons to learn that. Don't ask for a patient year, because you'll have a lot of opportunities to practice. So in creating my year, I wanted ease and flow. I was like, okay, I'm going to create a program called Feel the Flow. So how can we bring more flow into all the areas of our life? So I want more flow in my finances, my abundance. So let's look at where your blocks are with money and finances so that can flow into your life. And then let's look at our relationships and how do I learn how to listen better? How do I understand that love is what I give and not what I get so that I can have more love flowing into my life? And then how do I look at the things that come up that feel like challenges to see the lessons that I'm supposed to learn so that I can allow the flow of those lessons and the gifts that are going to come with that to flow in my life. Understanding that, when opportunities come around, it often mirrors stuff to us that we need to learn. So how do I find those lessons and learn them? How do I forgive? Forgiveness is a huge one, because when we harbor unforgiveness, we block so much in our life. So when I can forgive and let go, I feel free. And now things can flow into my life, because it's kind of like when you hold the garden hose, right? Nothing's flowing. So how do I learn to let go of that pressure, let go of what I'm holding on to have flow of so much into my life? So it's a 6-week program where each week we dive into a subject. We talk about it on the video. There's a homework sheet that asks you, really deep questions where you look at it. How is this showing up for me personally? And what do I need to shift and change to allow the flow of this to come into my life? And so when we do, and when we let go of resistance, so many beautiful things can flow into your reality. So I'm all about just creating an amazing 2019 for everybody. And then, what do we need to move out of the way so that we can just open up and receive all the beautiful gifts that are meant for us.
You said that course is going to be taking place right away here?
Yeah, it starts on January 23rd. So if you go to my website, souljourney.co, right on the front page, it'll pop up right underneath the main picture, Feel the Flow, and it'll give you all the information. It explains each week what the call is going to be about, what are the lessons, what is the benefit to you, so that you have a complete overview of what we're going to be doing in the 6 weeks. And then you get to interact with the women in the group, and that's a beautiful thing. You can also ask me questions during the video, and I'll answer them. But yeah, just seeing each other, everybody support each other. And then, I ask questions, how's your homework going? What came up for you? What were your wins? And then we all kind of celebrate together as a group the success and the wins that we're making along the way. So it's a really cool, beautiful process.
I love that. And this is one of the reasons why I have that love-hate relationship with social media, because this is a perfect way, a perfect tool that you've used to help women come together from all over the world, that they can be a part of this tribe that you're developing, and where they can learn and they can work on their own journey.
Yes, and that's why I called my company Soul Journey, because it was the journey of my soul. It's not an overnight fix. It's not a one-day, take a workshop, I'm good for the rest of my life. Like, it's the journey that my soul is going on. And I believe we're all here to learn and grow and heal. And so everything that comes into your reality is meant to help you. And sometimes it feels like it's not, and you don't get it. And, Tony Robbins, I had the honor of seeing Tony Robbins a couple days ago. And I love that he said, you don't have to like it, you just have to learn from it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't have to necessarily like what's going on, but I do have to learn from it, because if I don't, the lesson's going to keep repeating itself till I get it.
Yes.
And how many times have you had something happen over and over and it gets bigger and louder? So now I listen when it's like the quiet whisper because I'm like, I know it's getting bigger, so I'm going to listen right now. It's just going to get more painful.
Oh, that's great. Oh, Michelle, this has been a fantastic show. I want to thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I love nothing more than to just share with women, you know, just to give them hope, to inspire them that, you know what, it will get better. And, you know, when you take the time to change yourself, you can change your entire world. It's not about how everybody else shows up. It's changing how you show up will change absolutely everything.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to end it.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to
really
reach out and has questions, you know, my coaching is online. So, you know, you can be anywhere in the world. And I love nothing more than to support, you know, women in their journey. So, yeah, I would love to do that with your listeners. It would be my pleasure.
That is wonderful. And I definitely think that our divas out there would love to work with you. It has been a fantastic show, Michelle, and I do hope that you will come back on again and talk about all the things that you're going to be doing. If you've got that retreat coming up, we'd love for you to share it with our divas so that they can hopefully attend that with you.
Yes, absolutely. We're just in the process of finalizing with the location, so I'm guessing in the next 2 to 3 weeks, it should be up on my website, so just keep checking back. If you want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I always am posting what's new coming up. So you can find me at Soul Journey Transformations on both Facebook and Instagram, and then you can definitely see everything that's going on. And then inside of that, there's the private group called our Soul Tribe, and that's the closed group where it's a safe space that, you know, if you wanted to ask a question or whatever, it's not public. And so I have those opportunities available to everybody. No matter where you are in the world, we can still connect. And I have a ton of videos, so you can get to know me. You can see the things, you know, that I teach and share. I posted in the Soul Tribe my learnings from Tony Robbins that I shared with the group for the people that didn't get to go. And here's just a cool little side note. I actually got to meet Tony Robbins after. So, you know, when you think life sucks, anything's possible in the future.
That is awesome. Thank you, Michelle. See, this is a wonderful way to start 2019, Divas. You know, we have all these amazing guests that are going to be coming on our show. They've got such powerful, strong stories to inspire you, and I hope that you will take this show, because all of our calls are recorded, and I want you to take this show and send it to your friends and family. I know that Michelle is doing some fantastic things. You can listen, you can hear it in her voice, in the passion that she has, that she wants to help women. She wants to inspire them to live the best lives. And that's what the Divas That Care is all about, is finding women like Michelle so that she can empower and inspire all of you out there. So, Michelle, again, thank you so much for being my amazing guest today. It was such a pleasure having you. I loved everything that you talked about today.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to spend time with you guys.
It was so fun. And thank you to all of our listeners. You know, thank you for tuning into our show for the last 8 years. We've been honored, and we're very grateful that all of you are part of our movement, our Divas That Care movement, and we promise to get more amazing women like Michelle on our show in the future. So thank you again. Thank you, Michelle. And anybody that wants to check out all of our recorded shows, you can go to divasthatcare.com. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
For years, tuition in Alberta grew more and more expensive, putting accessibility at risk. But now, after 4 years of freezes, tuition costs are stable and education is affordable. Making tuition more affordable means more Albertans have access to post-secondary education, and that means more Albertans are set for success in a diverse and growing economy. It's looking up. To find out how you can take advantage of affordable tuition, visit alberta.ca/up. A message from the Government of Alberta.